Good morning, everybody. I should have known that we were at a college campus and they were going to bring up like what my degrees were from forever ago. And that minor in French, y'all, never used it a day in my life. Although, and I do say y'all, I'm from Michigan. That part is not in there. There's some things in there that I'm like, what? They don't even know where I'm from. They don't know what I do. A couple of quick things about me, some entertaining fun facts. I live in Michigan. I say y'all because I am one of 13 children. And I have siblings all across the South. And so all it takes is a phone call from my sister or my brother, and it slips right back in, and it's there. But been a Michigander my whole life, and that's really fun and exciting. Lucky enough to have two dads in my life as well that were both entrepreneurs. Totally different scale. My birth father started as a mechanic. Went into the service, did his time there, became a mechanic while he was in the service, got out, was a mechanic in an auto dealership, and by the end of his career, he owned 3 dealerships. So he totally ran the gamut, went from the bottom all the way up. Pretty cool experience, right? There's a lot of knowledge in there when you go from the ground up like that. Retired early and is doing his thing, which is really nice. My other dad, my stepdad, which is awesome, totally different scale. Went into the service, became a medic, really wanted to be a doctor. Okay, goes to med school, does his thing. He's an MD. He's the kind of MD down in Louisiana that gets paid with pigs, like way back in the day. He was much older. He served in World War II, so it's also part of the story. He gets paid with pigs. And then one day he decides, this is great, but I want to be a psychiatrist. Still way back in the day enough that he had to go to med school again to become a psychiatrist. And by the end of his career, was one of the leading testers for some of the most popular antidepressant drugs that are out there. Owned his own very successful practice. So 2 totally different scales of entrepreneurship that always part of my life. The other part of my life, my grandparents, union-based folks working in factories. So get that side of it too, right? We got all sides taken care of. I have 3 boys myself, 3 teenagers, so I can relate to the students in the back. I have a freshman, a sophomore, and a senior in high school. My house smells terribly, terribly, really bad. And especially right now because it's football season and I have one that's on the football team. So any mothers and dads, you can all relate, right? The smell is just, I'm sorry, boys' feet smell really bad, among other things. But because I'm the mother of 3 teenagers, I know how to pull answers out of people when you don't want to offer them up on your own. And this is an interactive class. So just heads up there to get you going there. Myself, I and my husband are the owners of 3 small businesses at the moment. So I get it too from that side of things. So I don't recommend opening 3 businesses in 1 year. The fact that we're celebrating our 18th anniversary here in another week is a bloody miracle after last year's stuff. It was really fun. It's a lot of work being a small business owner, yes? Holy moly. Because everybody goes home at 5 and you don't start until 9, right? And you take your hour-and-a-half martini lunch. Never a day in my life. Never. That's not the way it works, right? Every now and again, I'm lucky enough to squeeze away lunch with my girlfriends. It's fun. But there's also a lot of flexibility, and there's also a really great, tremendous, deep set of benefits you get from running your own business, too. Yeah? How many of you in the room own your own business? All right. Very good. All right. So ready to get started with Google? Wow. Are you guys ready to get started with Google? Yes. Remember, it's interactive. Okay. Let's do a little quick screen switch. And we'll be off and running. We're going to start today's presentation with a really cool video to kind of put us in perspective what we're going to cover. Can you guys relate to any of those moments in that video? Probably a couple of different ones for different reasons, right? There's actually quite a few that are direct hit to my life right now. Car situation. I have a senior. He has his license and a vehicle, but I'm about next week to have another driver in the house. And we also have a car that we own that is about to give up the ghost, I'm afraid. So we're doing some car research right now. What are we doing? Are we fixing? Are we buying? Are we leasing? What are we doing? We don't know. We've also had the baby route in our life, for sure. Definitely had the, okay, mom can't fix this one. We need some professional help moment. Yes. Also, the shoes are always relatable to me. I'm a woman. I love shoes. That's always good. Orange heels. Not orange. Orange is not my color, right? Right. We had a conversation about colors up in the back. She's, not a yellow fan. I'm not an orange fan. It's okay. How do you think this connected to the business class that we're about to present? Wow, I'm asking it wide open, right? I'm asking about how's it going to connect, and I haven't even told you what we're going to talk about yet. I heard an answer, though. Where did it come?
Just the different ways we can connect overall.
How connected we all are, right? How much information is readily available at our fingertips? Because we have one of these, right? How many of you have a phone with you today? Everybody? Does everybody own a toothbrush? Okay, don't laugh. This is a true thing. Honestly, does everyone own a toothbrush? Yes. I hope you used it today as well. That's a different thing. Did you know that there's more people that own smartphones than there are that own toothbrushes in the world? That's a true fact. Ew is right? But the fact of the matter is that this little mobile phone, pocket computer, as my husband refers to it, this 2x4-inch screen, is how we're all connected. And we're doing so many different things because of it. Now, I see a lot of you that have laptops out in front of you, right? I'm going to guess maybe 40% of the room has a laptop out. How many of you have a laptop with you but is not out on the table? A couple more in there. How many of you have a tablet as well? Okay, how many of you have a desktop sitting somewhere as well that you use? Man, you think we're a little connected in the world today? How many of you have made a decision of a purchase? Purchase could be dinner. Purchase could be an item that you're going to buy. Could be a car rental on your smartphone. How many of you would love all of your customers and clients to do that with you as well every day? Right? Every day. That's what we're trying to talk about here. How connected we all are. So here's our agenda for today. We're going to talk about reaching customers online, but in a local capacity, and give you some tools to do that. It's really about the Google My Business listing. Are any of you familiar with what that is? A few, but not very many. So it'll be a nice, good intro. Good. And then we're going to talk about how important it is to have your information accessible across all devices, right? Because it's not just about the desktop or the laptop anymore. It's definitely more about the mobile in the world, in the way we're moving. And then the end, we're going to give you a little taste of what it's like to use Google Ads, which is our ad platform. So if you're thinking about it, you want to know a little bit more about it, you're considering it, you'll have a little bit more information to be able to make your decision. Sound like a plan? All right, here we go. Connect with customers in moments that matter. 87% of smartphone owners turn to search in a moment of need. Search is when you Google something, right? When you go to the query and you're typing in a question. Or maybe you have a problem and you need a solution, right? There's something we want to know. Back in the day, my Google, when I was a kid and needed to look something up, was a whole bunch of really heavy books on a bookshelf called encyclopedias, right? It's a little different now, and it's accessible and at our fingertips. 30% of all mobile searches are related to location. They're things like restaurants near me, okay? Or maybe it says restaurants in New Orleans, because I'm going there for a conference in a couple of days, right? So I want to know what's there. So your location base could be two things. It could be my geographical area of where I'm doing the search, where my search is originating from, or if I type in a specific location of what I'm trying to find. Near me searches from the business perspective means near you opportunities. If someone's saying bakery near me, and you're that bakery, and you fall in that little window of that circle of trust, of get there, right? That's a good thing for your business. Hopefully you're going to get some. So how do we find out? How do they find you? 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to pretend that there's a little line here, and that 4 is off on its own. This is solitary. 1, 2, and 3 are kind of where Google works on this process, and 4 is on you. So Google's doing a lot of the heavy lifting for you. From the start, we don't even know what the consumer's wanting. We don't know what question they're going to ask. What are they looking for? What problem do they have? So as a marketer, from your standpoint, think like your consumer, right? That's the best piece of advice that I can give you on all of it. When you're doing all of your digital marketing, is think like your consumer. Sometimes we get stuck in our own heads, and we have certain words that we use, maybe in our industry, and we tend to use that, but it means nothing to my customer. So we need to think like our customer and get in their shoes. Once we kind of know what that is, what actual words are they using to search for us? I had an example of a landscaper that I was working with once, and it was like Smith Greenscapers was the name of his company. And I said, great, what do you do? Are there any landscapers in the room? By the way, I should ask this before I tell the story. No, okay, I think we're all safe. So he says, we're Smith Greenscapers. And I said, great, so what is it that you do? Because I really don't know what a greenscaper really does. And he's like, well, we're landscaping. And I go, okay, good. And he says, and I said, well, what kind of things do you do for your, because they do different things. And he says, well, we do mulch, and we do yard cleanup, and we do lawn maintenance and care. We also do snow removal. It was in Michigan, so snow is the thing, a big thing, and it's coming quick. I don't like it. And I said, okay, that's great. So if I were looking for you online, I would be typing in mulch, landscaper. So how often do you use those words on your website? And he's like, well, but I'm a greenscape company. You go, right, but I think you're a landscaper. Like as soon as you said landscaper, I know what you are. And if I'm looking for someone to take care of my yard because I'm too busy with my kids in the spring, I'm looking up landscaper, right? And he goes, okay, I guess I can give you that one. And I said, okay, well, tell me some of the other things you do. And he goes, oh, we put in irrigation systems. I said, you mean sprinklers? He goes, yeah. I go, okay. And I said, well, what else do you do? And he says, actually, we have this really cool thing. It calculates how much ground cover something or other. He was talking about mulch, but he had a different word for it. And I said, you mean mulch? He goes, okay, I'm getting it. I'm like, okay, right? It's all good and it's fancy. And irrigation would be great if you do football fields, because I would say they have an irrigation system. Farmers use irrigation systems. Me at my house, I want a sprinkler. You got to think like your consumer in that. So what words are your consumers actually plugging in to answer their question or solve their problem? And then Google's going to give the consumer a list of choices. We think that based on the criteria that you put in, this is what you want to see. Hopefully, you're up at the top. That's the one you choose, and then they go and click to your website. Number 4 is your website, right? That's on you. Is your first impression good enough to make a sale? Is what they see right there what they're looking for, and can you solve their problem? How simple is your checkout process? Do you have a form that has 15 questions that they need to fill out, or is it 3? Because they're doing it from this little tiny device, a 2 by 4 inch screen, which is the average. Sorry, my text thread, a little crazy. 2 by 4 inch screen, you get a lot of information on here, but how big are our thumbs? Right, and this is just the average size of a screen. It's pretty close. How big is that? How easy is it for us to hit the wrong spot? Because we're often doing things on the fly, too, as a consumer, right? So if you're doing things like text links, you have to take those into consideration. Your pictures, are they clickable to go somewhere? Do you have an easy-to-operate menu? Do you have a site search? We're going to talk about all of those different pieces that fall in. But I really want you to walk away today and kind of walk through what you think your consumer steps would be to find you online, and take a good hard look at what that looks like from their shoes. And are you good? Do you feel comfortable with what you have? So Google My Business is a really cool tool, and I pretty much guarantee almost all of you have seen a Google My Business listing. You just didn't know what it was called, and now you do. It is this on the right-hand side when you do a search. Could be location-based. It could be because someone did a direct search for this business and they popped up, but it's going to be over here on the right-hand side. This is free of charge. This is a program that Google has for small businesses. There is cost involved, obviously, in your time in maintaining it and setting it up, but it is free of charge in terms of having the listing and where it pops up. It gives you map, links to website. You can click for directions. Does this look familiar? Have you guys seen some of these? Okay, good. Local results on Google. I should give you the URL to go. gybo.com/business. By the way, I have a lot of URLs in this presentation. I have one slide at the end that has all the URLs on one page. So if you want to take a picture of that, I will also send the slides to Melissa so she can get it out to all of you guys as well in a PDF form. Just so you know. And you can take pictures whenever you want along the way. All right, so your Google My Business results look a little bit different depending on what kind of device we're looking at. If we're looking more on a computer screen or a laptop screen, it's going to look something like this. Mobile device, some different options. Tablet, a little bit different, but very similar to a laptop or desktop view. Okay? Some cool things with Google My Business, and this is probably my favorite marketing tool that Google has for small businesses. I think it's pretty powerful. But the number one thing that I see that doesn't get done correctly is that you don't take the time to complete all of your information. You start it, you go in, you're all excited, you're gonna log in, and you get a part of the way through, and then you get a phone call, right? Distractions happen, it's life. Please come back to it and finish it and get it set up. But finish all your business info. Take the time to do that, because this may be the only shot you have at a new customer. Hopefully you got the info up there. Add special hours. Hours of operation is huge. That's what a lot of our searchers are looking for when they're looking for a small business specifically. And add photos. Listings with photos do significantly higher conversions than those that do not. And if you have a really cool space, consider hiring a Google trusted photographer, and they can come in and do virtual pictures and 360 pictures, and it's at a reduced rate if you use a Google trusted photographer, because they have a partnership with Google for those kinds of things. So some things to think about. Think back to that video that we showed at the beginning. Do you remember the little girl with the hair, right? When the mom was searching, do you remember what she typed in? Kids cuts was what she typed in. Do you remember seeing anything else on that screen? There was a little box similar to this that said 10% off your first visit. That's a post, and that is a Google My Business post, and that also is free and part of this account. Everything we're talking about today has no cost. I want to be very clear about all of that. So, sharing updates with posts. Posts are very, very cool. Here's the big, super powerful thing about posts. You do a search on a mobile device, and you find this Google My Business listing, and this post is visible to you. Posts operate very much like they do on a social site, right? So it's just like making a post on all these other places that we already do it, but it shows up right on the search page. Those consumers don't have to go to the social media networks that you're on and find you there, nor do you have to be on the ones that they're on. It just shows right up. You can set them to have expiration dates. So if you're doing maybe an event on the weekend and you want that information out there, you can have it turn off at a certain time. It doesn't keep a scroll. You can go back and see past posts if you go to a Google My Business listing, and you as the owner can go back and see your past posts, but they're not visible to the consumers. The consumers only see the latest one. Very cool information. The other thing is, and put a picture with it too. Pictures are highly wonderful. All right, communicate with messaging. How cool would it be if you had a customer that found you online randomly, or maybe not so random, and hit a little button and sent you a text message? And you can respond to a text message because you're in a meeting, but you can't necessarily answer a phone call or be at the front door, right? How cool would that be? And how cool would it be if they don't get your cell phone number either, but they can still contact you on your cell phone? Oh, and lastly, you get their number. Kind of awesome. she's like clapping. You want to she's like dancing. It's awesome. It is awesome. Messaging is available free through your Google My Business account. You can go in and set it up. You need an SMS number, so it has to be a cell phone to do it. Some other cool features about messaging, because I see some like big eyes getting excited about this. We'll tell you a little bit more. You can switch it to different people at different times. Literally, once they just hit the code and say yes, then they're in and they're done. So if you have someone that's going to be gone on vacation and you need to assign it to somebody else, lickety split easy. Or you say, we're going to take a sabbatical. Maybe it's summer months for the college, although I would imagine that this college has classes year round and activities. But some shut down. Maybe it's a school, right? You just turn it off, turn it back on when you want it. Very cool. No fees associated with it from the Google side. Obviously, you're texting, your local rates apply, right? And then lastly, reviews. This is where you manage your Google reviews for your business, is in your Google My Business account. How many of you have left a review for someone or something? Good fair chunk of the room. How many of you have made a purchase decision based on a review? We are very trusting of strangers behind a computer, aren't we? We are. We do it. This is what we do. I was just doing something last night and I'm like, it's only got one review. And I said no. It was a big purchase, right? We have another one, actually, that text thread that's going out of control on my phone. Remember that Mexico beach vacation that was plugged in that video? Also applicable to my life right now. Getting a girls' trip together with my girlfriends. It's crazy. In 3 days' time, we went from, we should all go take a trip, to literally booking today. It's crazy how this is happening. And it's in November. It's like lickety split around the corner, but we're tossing back and forth on different places to stay. And I snipped 3 of them off the list because of reviews. No, no, and no for these 3. Based on reviews of strangers, people that I have no idea who they are, or what they had for breakfast, or whether they were hangry because they didn't have breakfast, right? A couple of things about reviews. How many of you respond to all the reviews you get for your business? 1 brave soul on that. 2, 3, 4. Okay, a couple more hands going. I'm telling you, you got to be interactive in here. Why do you respond to everyone? Good, bad, and ugly, all of them? Yeah. Why do you do that?
Because,
And she's like, why wouldn't I?
yeah, why wouldn't I?
Right? Okay. How about some of the others?
But
Why
I've
do you
never
respond to
had
all? Pardon?
I've never had a negative review.
Hey, that's good. That's awesome. Do you respond to all of them?
Yeah, you want to acknowledge misinformation. You want to congratulate or thank your staff. You know, to share the review. If they took the time to do it, you should take the time to respond. It's just
Agreed. Couldn't have said it any better. It is your opportunity. If you have a negative review, it's your opportunity to kind of be the bigger person and try and fix it. And it still shows that you're putting in an effort, right? That I'm sorry you had the bad experience. You don't have to say the customer's right, because we all know that the customer's usually right, but not always right, right? That's kind of, I've spent enough time in customer service. They're not always right. We get that. But it's still important. If they're taking the time to leave a review, what do they usually want?
Something is a term with discount.
They really just want to be heard. Most of the time, they just want to be acknowledged, right? So you don't have to say, you're right, we were wrong, we'll fix it. But you certainly should say, I'm sorry you had a bad experience. I'd love to hear more about it. Can you contact me here? Leave a phone number or an email, however it is you want to connect with them, right? And try and take it offline. That's the only time today I'm going to tell you to do something offline, by the way. But try and get it offline. Here's the thing about reviews, too. When you have your Google My Business set up, someone leaves you a Google review, you get a message so that you know you've gotten one. Someone has left you one. There's no excuse for you not to respond. Likewise, when you respond to the person who has left it, say it's me, I get a message that you have responded. So there's a good way for engagement to open up back and forth here and make an opportunity. Some other things about reviews that I just want to touch on. I could teach an entire class about reviews because I think they're so important. Because how many of us made decisions, right? Almost all of us raised our hands based on reviews. They're critical to your business. You have to get in the habit of asking people to leave you a review. That's the only way you're going to get more. So whether you do that by sending out an email to your customer base, or you get in the habit if you have maybe a desk or a counter where people are checking out and those people that work that station are in the habit of asking, you just need to ask, right? You got to get in that habit. I would also urge you to get in the habit of leaving more good reviews for people that you do business with when they deserve it, right? Because maybe if we get a little better about leaving the good reviews, the bad reviews won't matter so much. Because the bad reviews really bother us, don't they? Like, oh, I know, right? It happens. They're there. A couple of other things about reviews. We had a scenario once in a metro area, larger metro area, where there was a certain service business that went through and left bad reviews for all of the other competitors in that same market, right? Google knows that you do those things, and they were all removed and fixed and corrected, right? I always get a question too, usually in class, about like, oh, well, so-and-so left me a review. They've never stepped foot in my business, right? They're a competitor. It has nothing to do with me. Okay, well, don't worry about him, first of all, because if he's got so much extra time on his hands that he's leaving you a bad review instead of working with a client or customer, and you're out working, you're winning, right? You're getting money in the door. The second thing is, bury it. It's really hard. You're not going to like this piece. It's really hard to get bad reviews taken down unless they're flagrant, violent, big, they're against policy. Then you can flag them and they'll get removed. But if it's just a disgruntled something or other, it's probably going to stay. So how do you fix it? Get good reviews. Whoever said that, right? Flood it with the good stuff. Push it down to the bottom. Any other questions on reviews real quick before I move on? A couple more tips on reviews too. One, don't put an iPad or a tablet or anything at a station where you have people log in at your place of business to leave you a review, because then it looks from Google's eyes that all of those have come from the same IP address, and they think that you're just sitting around leaving yourself good reviews all day long. So those will get removed. Don't do that. You can certainly ask for reviews, but you cannot reward for reviews. Okay? So you can't say, I'll give you 10% off your next visit if you leave me a good review. Not okay. All right? Good little helpful tips. Anybody learned anything so far today? Yeah, okay, good. Yes?
I have a quick question. With regards to the reviews, I understand about the bad reviews and addressing those immediately. On great reviews, is it annoying to the customer who left one to just say thank you and we appreciate your...
Not at all. I'm going to see that you responded and delete it. That's how I'm going to react to it, right? But if I'm taking the time to leave you a good review, it's because you've done a really good job, and it's that acknowledgement thing for me. You went out of your way, and you should know that, and I want you to thank the staff, especially if I've mentioned somebody by name. I travel way more than I should. So hotels, restaurants, car rentals, they can make or break my trip. And if I've got someone who has made my trip, I want to go out of the way, and I'm going to mention them by name, and I want them to get credit. So if you get one of those that has a staff of yours specifically mentioned, good or bad, share it with them. Yes?
Just a basic question. I have an IP, a router, for Wi-Fi. So if the people that are on my Wi-Fi with their tablets or whatever writing a review, is it going by their IP address or is it going by my router's IP address?
That's a really good question. I will look that up. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure it's their equipment themselves because they have its own IP.
I'm 99% positive that you're correct, but I would rather look it up and give you the right answer than guess. So we'll look that up afterward. If they come in like that, even if they were on yours and you got like a handful of them, that's going to be okay. But if there's a lot coming in on a steady stream from the same one, that's not. It looks like you're writing for yourself. All right, let's go ahead and keep going. Reach everyone across all devices. I'm a big believer in trying to get things on time as we go. Do you think that every small business needs a website? Yes, they do. And guess what? If you don't have one and you need a starter site, your Google My Business account will also build a free website. Free. Kind of slick. It's all right in there. And it walks you step by step. I literally had a guy in class one time log in, get all of his information confirmed, verified his listing, built the website, all before I was done talking. He was done. He was on the web and good to go. You absolutely want a website. But here's the thing. It's really about your goals as to what it's going to look like, right? Even if it's one page that just has your basic contact information on it, you should have a website, because that's where a lot of our consumers are looking, is on the web, across all these different devices, right? So we know that. But what is your goal? You have to have a goal. Everything that you do in digital marketing should have a goal. It's very much like, has anyone ever had a goal of, say, getting in shape? Most of us on January 1st of every year, right? Okay, I'm gonna go to the gym, whether we're losing weight or we're just trying to be stronger or building more muscle, whatever, right? Many of us have had that goal. What does it take for us to accomplish that goal of getting in shape?
You have to do it.
You have to do it, which includes what?
Going to the gym.
Going to the gym. Maybe you need to take a walk, right? What else might we do?
Dedication.
What?
Dedication.
Dedication, absolutely. What else do we have to do? Maybe drink more water.
Eat right.
Maybe eat right. Maybe we need to find a diet. Maybe we need a trainer. But you got to show up, right? It's a goal. The goal is to do this. And in order for me to accomplish that goal, I actually have to do these steps. What is your goal for your website and your digital marketing? And what steps are involved in that? And is it doable for your customer or your potential customer? How are you going to reach them? Are you going to only reach them through a website? Are you going to maybe use a mobile app? Maybe do some online advertising? Maybe it's a social network? What does that look like? How many opportunities for touches do you have in place? And how well do you manage those? There's a lot of opportunities there. Who's your ideal audience? Here's a little activity for you for 1 second. Close your eyes. Don't fall asleep on me, but close your eyes. And think about your best customer that you currently have, or client. Think about who that person is. What do you like about them? What kind of restaurants do they go to? Are they a Taco Bell? Or are they the steakhouse? Right? What do their friends do for a living? What do they do for a living? Where do they go on vacation? Are they campers or are they all-inclusivers? It's a difference, right? Got your picture of your ideal customer in your head? What if you could get 50 more of them? Would you say yes? Maybe. You guys are like, nah, I'm good. Really? You don't want more customers just like that one? Your best one. Of course you do. Of course you want more. Build all of your marketing to find more of your best customer. You don't want the ones, we all need new business, right? All the time, even if it's just a little bit here and there. But if you could clone that best customer that spends $10,000 a month with you, that one person, wouldn't you like 5 more? Yeah, and that guy in the back like, really? Yeah, I know it's a big number. It's an example. It's okay. Wouldn't you want more? Build it to fit them. What do they want? How do they read things? How do they look at things? What would appeal to them? Think like your customer. And how are you going to measure success? Because it's a goal, right? If we go back to our exercise, we're going to get in shape. Our goal might be a certain weight, or a goal might be a gain of inches on my son's bicep. He says, Mom, I'm getting yoked. Okay, dude. Whatever. All right, search engine optimization. Has anyone not heard of the term SEO? We've all heard of it, right? It's how we get placed online. We want to be the top on the organic listing, right? And just a quick little point out, this one's an ad at the top. These are not. These are ads. That is an ad. This is not. What is that? Google My Business Listing, right? We just went through all that. That's not an ad. Okay, how can you tell when you've got ads like in these places? It says ad. Good, you guys are paying attention. You'd be surprised. Sometimes I get a class that's like, it says ad, people. Ad, right there. Okay, we got it at the top. If it doesn't say ad, it's an organic listing result, right? We all kind of know what that is. So here's some things on how to boost your SEO. Organization matters. Something else I try and tell my children all the time that they don't believe. It's true for your website too. Is your website structured in a way that is easy for consumers to find information? Is it also set up in a way that Google can read your website? Do your page titles match the content that you have on that page? Because a lot of us, myself included, in the past, thankfully I fixed it, went in and was like, oh, I'm going to reorganize my website. And I reorganized it, and I changed things around. I flipped pages around and put new stuff over here and over there. And I didn't change my page titles to match. Don't forget that step. That's very important from Google's perspective. Useful original content. Fresh content is probably your key item when it comes to organic search listings if you want to get boosted up to the top. How often should you have fresh content? Every day. That'd be good. The appropriate answer, as often as you can. And yeah, if you can do it every day, do it every day. Now that's a lot, right? You guys are like, I am overwhelmed. No, don't be overwhelmed, because a picture is content. A video is content. A lot of us think content in terms of traditional words, and it's not. It's all sorts of other things. Maybe you have an RSS feed with your blog post. How many of you blog? Blogging is fantastic for SEO. Let me say that again. Blogging is fantastic for SEO. Really, really good. But fresh content is critical. So put up a new picture. Put in a little blurb about something you got going on. But keep it updated and fresh as often as possible. Text links, yes, question. Yeah.
So, is one of the ways that they could do that, so if you're sitting in this room and you're thinking about, I don't write a lot of blogs, what are some of the other ways that they can produce content? So, beyond the blog. So when you said update a picture, and I think that, do I just go in and update one of my, maybe the About Us page? So if I hire somebody new, I can go in and add them and celebrate them and add that picture, and that's new content without actually
having to do whole new content. That is a great example. And the other thing is too, like where maybe you're just putting in, like I said, a new event or an upcoming something, or maybe you have a new partnership. You're collaborating with somebody else on something. That can be new content, right? Pictures are worth how many words? 1,000, right? That's the old adage. How many words are a video worth? That's a hypothetical. I don't know the answer to that question, but they're worth a lot. I just read an article not that long ago that said 85% of the content that adults are going to consume by the year 2020 is going to be via video. We'll say that again. 85% of the content that adults, which is 45 and above for this particular article, 85% of the content that we consume will be via video by the year 2020. That's a year and a half away, y'all. Year and a half. Like 2020, I used to think like so far away. It's not. It's knocking on our door. How easy is it for you to take a video? Fairly simple, right? Because we have a video camera in our pocket. Don't be afraid to use it. Put it on a tripod maybe if you're going to put it up on your website so it's a little more better, right? Got a couple of questions. Here's one here and then I'll get you.
Sorry, I just wondered if you bring your Facebook page so that it shows up on your website, is that considered freshening your...
As long as you've got it set up with the appropriate feed and the RSS line on the back, yes.
Michael's doing about social plugins.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. Okay, text links. Everyone knows what a text link is, right? A hyperlink? Yes? No, you have a question?
I was just going to make a comment about the post.
Sure.
It's nice too because I think your post expires in 7 days and they'll actually send you an email telling you to remind you to do it.
There you go. Little tip from the audience. Love it. Okay, text links are usually words that are highlighted in blue, and if you click on them, they take you somewhere else, right? We all know what those are. Again, when you're thinking about organization and structure, most of us, when we're designing our websites or updating our websites, are doing it sitting behind our lush little like 17-inch monitor, usually 2. Most of us nowadays have 2. I love 2 monitors, it's great. And it looks awesome, right? It's all good, the layout's good. I'm like, sweet, cross that off the list, I'm done. And I didn't look at it from my phone, which is where most of my volume and traffic is coming from. And those text links are right on top of each other. They are back to back. A legit example is my mother. God love Mike. She has a dog that has special needs. It's a whole nother class about that. But she has to order special dog food because the dog has an allergy and an intolerance and a this, that, and the other thing. And so she has this website that she goes to, and there's a text link right above each other. One's for the dog food and one's for the cat food. And she gets so angry because she clicks on the cat food and clicks on the dog food, or so she thinks, and it takes her to the dog food. Opposite. So clicks on the dog food, goes to the cat food. She goes back, she tries it again, and she still goes to the cat food. And I actually watched this happen one day. She got so angry the second time that it happened, she went back to search, typed in what she was looking for, and went to an entirely different website and plugged it in again and found it and ordered it. It took her 3 times as long to order from the new place because she wasn't as familiar with the checkout and the blah, 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 and they didn't have it as a guest and all that stuff. But she still purchased it because she got irritated over a text link. So think about where those are placed. Maybe consider using buttons that take up a little bit more space, right? We're doing things with our thumbs and our forefingers. Not many people still use styluses. My husband does. Whole nother thing in there too. Good page titles and descriptions. I talked about that. Fast load time. Also critical. Starting in July of 2018, one of the pieces of the algorithm for organic search is mobile load speed. I will say that again. That began in July of this year. One of the pieces of the algorithm, and the algorithm's got like 200 plus tags on it, but one of the options for consideration for organic search is how fast your website loads on a mobile device. So you've got to have a fast loading mobile. You need to optimize images. Make sure you've got the right size images for different places. Make sure your headers are header photos, and you've got little side photos and all your different pieces. And if you're unsure of what you need for what you're using, there's this great thing out there called Google. Plug it all in and see what you can find. It'll help you out. Google.com/webmasters. Here's another great tool for looking at what it looks like from when consumers are coming into your site. Take advantage of that one. Content marketing, I feel like I've covered, but one more quick thing. If you're ever struggling and you know you need fresh content, do a top 10 list or a top 5. I call those listicles. People like them, and we've all been suckered into that. How many of you have clicked, you're scrolling around, right, and you're like, oh, look at the top 12 I cannot speak this morning. Celebrity, whatever, cars, right? We'll go with cars. And we go in and we look at them and we're scrolling through and we pass time. It's all there. Google Trends is another cool tool that is out there, free. Again, you can plug in different words and see how they compare. It's a popularity-based thing, 0 to 100 for your score. You plug in the different things that you want to compare, and Google tells you how they're doing, right? Earlier this summer, royal wedding, huge on the popularity scale. So just kind of a cool thing. It helps you make decisions too, because it tells you what's trending where. So you can look it up geographically based on different demographics. Helps you with make better marketing decisions. Social media marketing. I do teach half-day boot camps on this, so I've got it all on one slide for you. You're welcome. The Erin Bemis school of thought on this is that everyone should be operating from your business social accounts, let me make that clear, on a 50-30-20 rule. This is not on a slide, so you might want to write this one down. 50-30-20. 50% of what you post should be entertaining and engaging and fun. Half. Entertaining, engaging, and fun. 30% of what you post should be related to you, but not about you. If you're that landscaper, maybe you're posting about when you should trim lilac bushes, or when to apply, how much mulch do I need, or when do I turn off my sprinklers, right? All sorts of different information, but it's not specifically about Joe's greenscaping. 20% about what you post is actually about you and your business. So 50% fun, 30% related to, and 20% about you. Why do you think I say it like that? 50%, because everyone's like, man, I'm a professional service. That doesn't necessarily fit, right? Well, motivational and inspirational fits in that 50%. It's in that same bucket. So maybe you go that route, right? And you're trying to be appropriate to your business channel. But why do most people go to social media channels? To be entertained, right? When are you scrolling through? When you're sitting in line at the doctor's office, maybe? In the waiting room? Maybe you're sitting in waiting for your car to get your oil changed, right? You're bored in some presentation that this chick's given, wearing a red t-shirt, scrolling through, right? How many of you scroll right before you go to bed at night? Or the first thing you do when you get up in the morning, right? We're looking for entertainment. Be entertaining. Try and have good, high quality photographs. There's a couple of sites that are out there that you need to have great photographs. Make sure what you're posting also matches your brand. Take a little time to think about that too and pull it all together. And you want it to be intentional. Does it work for your business? Because you want it to match. Email marketing, you heard in my bio, I used to work for an email marketing company. Got a lot of information in there too. I will say this. Number one error that I see in email is spelling. And frankly, there's no excuse for it. There really is no excuse for it. Not with all the tools that all of these digital things have. There are all sorts of spelling and grammar checks and points and systems that you can put into everything. Use them, right? If you're doing email marketing, and by email marketing I mean using a service, right, that's going to do mass email delivery for you, a couple of things that you should know. You should always schedule your email for a later date. Don't ever hit send unless you absolutely have to, right when you create it. Two things happen. If you schedule your email for this like ahead of time, like it's going to go out tomorrow at 5 a.m., you go to the front of the line of that queue. Black Friday, there are millions of emails that get sent from one particular company that I know for sure every minute. Millions go out of that server every minute. And if you just hit send, you're at the end of those millions of lines. But if you had it scheduled, you go to the front of the line. So schedule it. Scheduling also allows you to go back and fix the things that you miss. Maybe you forgot a sponsor, or you had the address wrong for the event you're trying to promote, or whoops, that was the wrong coupon code, right? Whatever it is, you have time to go back and fix it. Always also try and have somebody else look at it and look at it on different devices. Again, these are things that you're probably creating on your 17-inch screen. Most people are going to open it up on their phone. What does it look like there? You really need to look at both sides. Try not to use the word specialist in the headline or anywhere there if you can. This is a little tricky thing, but if you take S-P-E off the front of specialist and you cross off the T on the end, you have a little word hidden in the middle called Cialis. Think maybe you'll end in a junk folder. If you don't know what that is, that's another class too, and I'm not going to tell you. Your call to action needs to be at the top. This is appropriate for all of our content that we're doing online, so website, email, mobile sites, everything. Your call to action needs to be at the top. Back in the day when we had newspapers that we read information from, where was all the important stuff? On the top, above the fold, right? Front page, on the top when it's laying there folded in half. Now we call it above the scroll. It's whatever shows up on your screen before you move your thumb or your cursor. Those text threads, man, that's crazy today. So make sure that your call to action is there. If you want them to call you, by the way, put your phone number on that same page. Don't make them look for it. If you want them to send an email, make sure your email address is clear or a button that will connect you that way. And that's going right into all this stuff. Focus on your navigation and your home page. What does that first impression look like? And is it easy to use from your consumer point of view? Make it easy to search your site by having a site search available. Let my mom plug in the words specialty dog food and go straight to the page that she wants. Don't make me go through 67 pages of mumbo jumbo to get to the one that I know I've been here before, I bought from you, let me do it again. Make it easy. Make it easy to complete tasks. This comes especially in the form filling section. You ever been to a website that doesn't let you check out as a guest? And you have to fill out 30 boxes of information? Did they really need my blood type or my dog's name? Because sometimes I feel like they want my shoe size and everything else too, right? Like it's going to be easier for me to send you a vial of blood to verify that it's me than to fill out this form. I really feel that way sometimes. Think about that though too. Again, we're doing it from our mobile device. It's this tiny little thing. How many forms do you actually need? How many answers do you actually need? If you really only need a name and an email and a phone number so you can get back in touch with them, just ask that. Don't ask the others. So think about those things. And optimize for usability, right? Again, is that mobile piece. What does it look like on a mobile device? Super important parts. I told you that page load speed for your mobile device was really critical. Here's another free tool from Google. This is our longer URL today, testmysite.thinkwithgoogle.com. It will, if you go to the site and you plug in your URL, it will give you a page load time for your mobile device. It'll give you a score that says good. The thing that you really want to know about this is that for, every 3 seconds of load time, your conversion will fall about 20%. So your chances of making a sale are about 20% less for every 3 seconds that it takes to load your site.
Erin?
Yes.
So what's the ideal time? So if
As fast as
we go
possible.
out- Okay, I didn't know if there was like this threshold, so if I'm sitting here, like writing.
There's a
down-
lot of different information about that. It depends on location, right? Whether you have access to high speed or not in your area. There's still areas in the US that are on dial-up only, right? So it's going to be different. That's a really hard question to answer. So you want to be in the green in the Google world. Green is good.
Okay, so it's gonna be an indicator. It's gonna give you a
It'll tell you good, bad, another, and then it'll also tell you what things are slowing it down. Are your photos too big? Are your videos too large? Do you not have a mobile designed website? It will tell you all those things and give you hints and tips on how to correct them. Good question for lead-in. All right, moving into the last section here because I know we're all starting to get hangry. Checking on time. Reaching customers, online advertising. How many of you do online advertising already? Couple? All right. Like it? Not like it? Good? Bad? Meh? Okay, why do you do it? If it's not great. All right, ads appear on Google. We've talked about this before, right? How to distinguish what's an ad and what's not. You can have ads in a search network. You can have ads in a display network. A display includes pictures. Search is when someone types in a term, and it pops up as an option. Your ads can also show up on other sites, whether it's someone else's website in general, or because you've conducted a search for something else, but it's close to what you want. Maybe you're selling hockey skates, right? And someone else has done a search for hockey rinks in Minneapolis. You can relate those two so that you pop up when they search for hockey rinks, your ad for ice skates pops up on the side. These are good things. This is kind of like, a fun example here. Not that long ago, had a little movie night with my kiddos. We were watching The Wizard of Oz. My husband's from Kansas, so that has a little soft place in his heart. Until it comes to the monkeys, and he still covers his face. 50-year-old man's funny. But we're watching The Wizard of Oz one Sunday afternoon. Everybody goes to bed, right? And I'm thinking in my head, it would actually kind of be cool to have ruby red shoes, like high-heeled, fun Dorothy shoes, right? So I'm, of course, searching before I go to bed for these nice little shoes, and I wake up in the morning, and I'm doing something completely different and unrelated. And imagine what ad pops up. Ruby red shoes, right? Marketing gold. That is marketing success when you're in an online ad space. It's all there and easy for you to do. So a couple of things if you're doing search engine marketing, SEM, which is advertising, you need to define your goal. We've talked about goals quite a bit. You have to have a goal for your ad campaign. What do you want to accomplish? Are you just trying to do a branding? You just need to get your image or your company name out and be seen by as many people? Great, we have an ad stream for that. Do you want someone to actually book something, book a vacation if you're a cruise director? Great, we got an ad stream for that too, right? Do you need referrals or do you want an event sign up? Yep, we can help you with all of that as well. Maybe you're looking for volunteers because you're a nonprofit and you just need to build your base. You can do that through advertising too. So don't think advertising is only for sales. It's not. There's a lot of great opportunities that are out there. You want to create a compelling ad. A little school thought, I am ad certified, and I will say this, the successful ad campaigns that I see, most of them have more than one ad within a campaign. You can have 3 or 4 different ads within one campaign. I recommend that. Because what you might like to look at in an ad and what you might like to look at in an ad, 2 totally different things. But the end result is the same. They both booked a vacation with you, right? Or signed up to get a haircut or whatever. Think about how your consumers work. And again, don't forget you want to target your ideal customer. Though that's who you want to repeat. Right? Keep that in your mind when you're setting that together. The other thing about ads, when you do that and you have like 3 or 4 ads within one campaign and you set all your parameters and they start running, Google automatically figures out which ads are doing better for you and shows those more often than the others. It's intuitive like that. It's pretty slick. You get to control where the ads are displayed, meaning do you want them in the display network? Do you want them in the search network? Do you want them on such and such website or over here or over there? You figure all that stuff out. In ads, it's an auction type setting. You're actually bidding for it to be seen and to be clicked on. In pay-per-click models, what that means is your ad's going to get up there no matter what. You only actually pay Google if that ad is clicked on. So you might get a lot more impressions. You're just not actually getting the sale. And then you need to track performance and improve, just like everything else. And the best thing, probably my favorite thing about digital marketing, everything you do in digital marketing, you can change along the way, right? I don't like that website. I change it. I don't like this. I change it. I don't like that ad. I change it. You can shift and pivot all the time, and you should, based on results, right? Track your analytics. Pay attention. Google Analytics, by the way, goes hand in hand with Google Ads. So you can see all of that information. What works, what doesn't, who's coming from where, why, how, and everything else. The other great thing about ads is that typically for small businesses, they start in our smart campaigns. Those come with account managers. So as soon as you sign up for an account, you have someone that's going to work with you and help answer questions and guide you and point you through the pattern and the shift. It's really good. Speaking of Google Analytics, here's where you go to get it. How many of you use Google Analytics already? All right, we're going to talk more about analytics in the next class, so I want to ask more questions then. But you guys have got that going. Wise Guys Technologies, I actually love this one. Google really allows us to reach people that we wouldn't have been able to reach otherwise, right? You're in a specific presence, and you're pretty good, especially if you have a brick and mortar shop, that you have a presence in your local area. And online can take you to so many different places and spread your wings a little bit and get going. All right, so next steps for you. You're going to go get your Google My Business listing set up. You're going to go to google.com/business. You're going to learn how to reach everyone on all devices, and you're going to think like your consumer. Yes? I'm going to hammer this one home one more time. You have to think like your consumer at all times. And so you remember this, and if you're going to walk away with anything, it might be this. What did the fish say when he hit the wall? Damn. Think like your consumer. I'm full of mom jokes. Maybe you'll get a couple more in the next class. Reach customers online with advertising. If you're ready to go down that path, I kind of gave you a quick little overview on how to do that. To do all of this, you do need a Google account, google.com/accounts. If you have an AdWords account, you have a Google account. If you have a Gmail, you have a Google account. If you have a Google Drive, you have a Google account. All of those are Google accounts. Just want everyone to be aware. Get that question often. Here's that page with the slides. And I think we're pretty close to right on time for doing the lunch, right?
Excellent.
Okay, I'm going to leave this one up here. We got a couple of questions.
What do Google Ads cost?
It depends on how you want it to set up. I will say this, too, on Google Ads. You said, how much do Google Ads cost? If you have an intent of going in and spending $50 a month, you're not going to get anywhere. You really need to start with a little bit of a bigger budget. The other thing is, the ones that I have really seen do really, really well, and again, this is me watching a lot of different things over time, start with a bigger budget and work your way to a smaller budget. Try all sorts of things in the beginning and spend a little bit more money up front when you're doing advertising. Try different ad types, different ad styles, different things. You have multiple campaigns running at once. You're going to see very quickly what works and what doesn't. And the stuff that doesn't work, you can just turn off. And then you can hone in on what actually does work and work with your regular budget and have it go forward. That answer your question? Kind of, and not really at all. I know. There's so many variables that it all really, truly depends on how you set it up yourself. It can be as affordable as you want it to be, but I would also say that probably not going to get very far if you're only trying to do $10 a week, right? Okay. All right.